Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the situation report, or the summary for the day of 848 for the 20th of June. And Commander, do press the like button, subscribe. Subscribe if you have not subscribed, but especially if you listen through and you think that it's meaningful, then of course, no, the only sensible thing is to subscribe to help to support the channel. And we're going to start off with the frontline changes report. There's 3 frontline changes over the Voschansk, Krasnohorivka, and Maximilianivka. So we're going to go to the Kharkiv Front. Over the Battle of Voschansk, there is a new geolocation showing Ukrainian forces taking a new position over the central part of of Voschansk. So this means that the Ukrainians are making a little bit of progress in this Suborna Street. They are pushing up from the high ground, from the high buildings, pushing up north. But the situation is pretty difficult. I will talk more about it in the strategy and tactical reporting. So after this area, the next frontline change is over at Krasnohorivka. So at the Battle of Krasnohorivka on the west of Donetsk city, there is a huge claim by the Russian mapping. I would urge to take this with a massive pinch of salt. And because this is a huge claim that the Russian forces over the past week or so have made this progress, because we don't have much reports of any changes around this front or this battle. So this change looks very interesting if you ask me. So we will just continue to monitor. This is just a Russian claim, so we will continue to see how this develops. The next frontline change is just nearby over at Maximilianivka. So this Georgievka and Maximilianivka, and just a little bit of frontline change, or not really change, but Russian claims. So based on Russian mapping, they mapped it in slightly like this, a little bit different, and that's about it. Nothing much. So these are the frontline changes report. We're going to go into the strategy and tactical reporting. First thing first, there was some air strikes, missile strikes launched by the Russian side, which I usually not very interested in. So just note that happened. Over at the Kharkiv Front. At the Kharkiv Front, Russian forces now is on the back foot. Ukrainian forces continue from what I mentioned yesterday. They are now on the counteroffensive. Ukrainians are attacking at Kliboki. Over at Voschansk, east of Voschansk, and the Russians are pushing back at Voschansk as well. And this is basically the general situation over in this Kharkiv Front. So we go into the details. At the area of Kozacha-Lopan, there's some shelling report just off the border at Krasny Khutor. Not very important. Over at the Lipsy sector, the Ukrainian forces are now on the major counteroffensive over at Kliboki. This is reported by Russian sources, by Ryba and 2 majors. So I've added a new Russian source, 2 majors, to supplement the reporting, because someone told me to add one more source. So I just add one more. So Ukrainian side, I used to have another source, but I didn't use it lately because very hard to imagine he have all the information. But we shall see how this goes. I will just look for good Ukrainian sources that more objective and can be corroborated, the information. So the one that was mentioned, I forgot his name. It dropped off my name. So I used to plot his information, but it's a very weird channel. A lot of his information they plotted, he always talk about fightings that no other channels are talking about, but it is also not possible to invalidate him, but it's also not possible to corroborate him. So which is why I kind of drop it into like a secondary reading. Myro Shinikov, that's the name. So anyway, so that's the sources thing. There is some geolocation at Lipsy of some shelling. There's this shelling over here. This one particular have made some viral news. This is a geolocation of a 3,000 kilogram FAB, the biggest FAB bomb of all glide bomb that have been used on the Ukraine war. So it struck a building around here. It actually somewhat missed the target by a little bit, but it still managed to create some huge damage to the building. So I think it was trying to hit this building, but the bomb dropped here. So everything here is flattened. The building here is damaged, but the building still stands. So they kind of missed in a way. And the explosion is not actually that impressive. So, you know, the 3,000 kilogram bomb, yeah, maybe, I'm not sure. Not sure if the information is correct, but this based on Ryba, based on information from the Russian sources, they said this is confirmed to be a 3,000 a Fab 3000. So yeah, it is what it is. So otherwise, we move on. At Biscay region, there is still shelling being geolocated here, showing Ukrainian presence around in the East Biscay region. Over at the Battle of Voschansk, at the Battle of Voschansk, Russian forces are still attacking. The Russians are actually, you know, still pushing, allegedly pushing south, and managed to, you know, there's some rumors about them taking everything south. However, the Ukrainians are pushing in the northern part. So it's kind of a bizarre situation where, you know, this turning into a yin yang logo, a yin yang graphic, where they, you know, all the Pisces, you know, like a Pisces, you know, graphic, you know. So we shall see how this develops. Very weird. The Ukrainians are also, you know, conducting offensive operations in the eastern part of Voschansk, but we don't have much news regarding this situation around here. So that's all for the Kharkiv front. Whoops, so sorry. Hope you didn't get dizzy. And we move on over the Kupiansk front. At the Kupiansk front, we do not have much reports of fighting suddenly. There's only fighting reported at Sinkivka, and that's about it. We have a lot of geolocations of airstrikes and shelling on Ukrainian positions in these multiple different locations all along the front line. So looks like the Russians on some operational pause while they, you know, soften the enemy first before they, you know, go on for another assault. So that could be the situation. Which means the Ukrainians are doing well actually, you know, in defending the position. Bohuslavka, there is also shelling hitting some Ukrainian positions. Not very important. Nothing else over in the rest of the Svetove front. At the Crimea front, we have the Russians attacking at Nevsky as well as towards Kharkivka, probably through the Serebransky forestry, which is over here. But that's about it. Very quiet as well. So, you know, this is also why I also added some, you know, supplement report from two majors, because two majors is actually always shared by Ryba. I never plotted in two majors information that is shared by Ryba before, because, you know, that's literally not Ryba's information. So but, you know, just supplementary. So since Ryba trusts them, I think they're pretty good. No, so far we will continue to monitor and see whether they bullshit, but it's very unlikely. They have 700,000 followers, should be pretty decent, I guess. So over at Bakhmut, at the Bakhmut region in the central part, Russian forces are continuing their attack in the area of the Kanel micro district. There is also some attack in the somewhere near Chasivia. And that's about it. There's no more fighting being reported at Kalinina. So that's it for the Bakhmut front. And if I didn't remember wrong, there is no reports from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. So I think, which is why this report is going to be a bit heavy on the Russian information. Over at the New York front, of course, this is the new child, the new baby that, you know, everybody probably is interested in. Russian forces are still conducting offensive in this direction, with fighting reported towards Druzhba, towards New York, as well as at Olosentropil. There is also shelling being reported at Torets. And so we will continue to wait and see, you know, how this develop. Very peculiar situation, as I mentioned before. Moving on over at the northern flank of the Adivka front, there is Russian forces attacking the area of Arkhangelsk, Novo-Oleksandrivka, and Sokil. All this information came from two majors. Otherwise, my usual primary sources actually didn't talk about anything about in this area here. In the central flank, the Russian forces are attacking in the area of Novoporovsky as well as towards Novoselivka, Persia. There is some geolocation of some heavy fighting, FPV drone attacks on Ukrainian positions in this area here. So there's a lot of attacks, and you can look at the previous geolocation from the previous SITREP. This area here in the Adivka front looks like the most intense of the front, all of the battlefields in the Adivka front. So we move further south. Russian forces are continuing to push in this area at Netalovy and Kharkivka. They are pushing in two different directions in the north and in the south. So far, no progress. There is a geolocation of FPV drone attack in Kharkivka, in the northern part of Kharkivka. So that's about it. So the Russians are making this push in this area here. So all in all, you can see the Russians are attacking at Arkhangelsk, Novo-Alexandrivka, Sokil, Novoporovsky, Novosibirsk, Persia, and Kharkivka and Netalovy region. So that's it. And of course, this is the New York front at Oleksandropil. So we move on. Over at the Battle of Krasnohorivka, Russian forces are attacking in two different directions from the east and from the center part. And of course, with in the frontline changes report as mentioned, Russian forces claim to have some breakthrough in this northeastern part of Krasnohorivka. So if this is true, it is a major development, but tentatively we do not know. Deep State UA also did not publish their daily report, so the entire Ukrainian side went quiet. So I'm not sure if this is some operational silence before something big is about to happen. Maybe the super duper uber Ukrainian super duper super saiyan counteroffensive. I do not know. Unlikely, because based on my sources and information on the ground, based on the monitoring, I don't think the Ukrainians currently have much to actually conduct some major counteroffensive right now, which is a kind of a sad thing for the Ukrainian side, because then you're just getting hit, getting a punch in the face all the time. You cannot hit back. So there's some shelling at Kharkiv. Russian forces are attacking at Masimilivka on the eastern part of Masimilivka. So, just to add, Ukrainians can hit back. They have drones, they have long-range missiles, cruise missiles. The Americans have approved to allow them to hit Russian targets within Russia, so using US weapons. So UK, of course, have already approved theirs, but not sure what they can, what kind of weapon they use. Maybe Storm Shadows. So maybe there is some massive barrage going to come, soon from the Ukrainian side. I do not know. Or they have surface drones as well, but the surface drone is starting to lose its effectiveness because the Russians are starting to find more ways to defeat it. The latest is a FPV drone to attack the surface drone. Moving on. So over at the Velika Novosibirsk sector, the Russian forces are attacking at Uruzhaine. Ukrainian forces counter-attack at Staromayorsky. Russian forces seems to manage to hold the line according to the sources. And then there is a series of airstrikes being geolocated around Blahodatne. So this could be related to the shelling report from the Russian side 2 days or 1 day to 2 days ago. And Velika Novosibirsk sector was also reportedly shelled again according to the Russian Defense Ministry. So things are generally, in the grander sense of things, a bit more quieter. So at the Zaporizhia front, so this is Zaporizhia city, and this is the entire Zaporizhia front. Russian forces shelled Huyaipole. Let me zoom in a bit. So they shelled Huyaipole. There is attack north of Robotine at Nasteryanka, over at Malishibaki, as well as Zarybianki. Zarybianki, right? Yeah, Zarybianki. So the interest. So this continued skirmishes. I don't think these are major offensive, but it's just interesting to note that it's getting a bit more hotter, and that's about it, I guess, from Zaporizhia front. Over at the Kherson front, we have some news. According to two majors, they reported that there is fighting north of Krinky and Cossack camps. Cossack camp is Kozachi Lahiri. So there is some attack across the Dnieper River, or the Konka River. I think it's Konka, right? Yeah, I think it's pronounced as Konka. Yeah, Konka River. And so they're probably fighting in the islands. I'm not sure, because they said north of the island, the villages. So I'm not sure how to interpret, other than they're fighting in the islands. So we will just see how this develops. Because no one else is talking about this. I do not know how to interpret this. And the Russians are shelling Ivanivka. So maybe some corroboration about this. I'm not sure. There is a geolocation of an airstrike at Mykolaiivka. So there is some airstrike around there. And I think that's about it over in the Kherson front. Yeah, so that's it. So, Commander, do subscribe, press the like button. Pretty much shorter SITREP today. And so thank you for watching. Do press the like button, and I'll see you guys in the next update.